pressure. She's sacked him. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Celtic. Great catch. Touchdown. Kansas City, the 10. Still knocked out. Oh, what a run. Out of this world. Sinks it up the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Matthew. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
Mitch Holthus with you, along with Shawn Barber. The Chiefs with a statement victory tonight over the Baltimore Ravens, 34-20. Let's go right to the podium and see if Andy Reid's as good there as he was tonight on that sideline.
I mean, did so many good things. So many people did so many good things. Was bearing down against what I consider one of the best offenses in this league, and for them to, for our defense to do that, that's something special. So, take a lot of pride in that. And then offensively, I thought, the guys were able to score some points, which were important. We had the turnover that we wish we had back. We had a nice drive going there, but that's how it goes. But I just thought overall, against a team that I think is as well coached as any team in the league with John Harbaugh and his crew, I just thought it was a well executed game from the Chiefs standpoint.
Let's go first to Adam Teichert. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. You guys showed, even for you, some unusual offensive creativity tonight. The underhanded shovel pass, the pass to Eric Fisher, that wildcat reverse. How long? Where'd you come up with all those things, and how long you've been working on them, and why was tonight the time to use those?
Well, we were hoping they would work, So. And, start with, but there's nothing like Monday Night Football, right? So, but that doesn't mean, that you stop there. I'm not saying that, but it's just a good time to use it.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, you guys hadn't played your best, I think it's fair to say, against the Chargers. I know there's things that you'll pick out from this game, but I'm just curious, did you feel after the Chargers game that there was a special performance in this group tonight, that they were up for this in a different way?
Well, I know what we're capable of. And so we were just okay against the Chargers. Listen, we won the game, which is hard to do in the National Football League, but we could have done a better job. And it starts with me. So, I look right in the mirror on that first. And it wasn't, I didn't do a great job of setting the guys up. And listen, we got another big one this next week, right? So every week in this league, you got another one rolling in. So we hear the New England's coming in, and they're playing good football. So we've got to get ourselves back and healed up a little bit on the soreness and playing tonight, physical game, and get ourselves right for this next week.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, congratulations on the win game plan. Curious about the Eric Fisher play with the Ravens kind of swinging the momentum a little bit. Why that play call at that time, and why do you think it worked with Fisher catching the touchdown?
Well, we put it in training camp. We worked on it there a little bit when you guys weren't looking. So we were able to pull it out and use it here. So Fish is always, he's always bragging about how good his hands are, but he did a pretty good job with it. I got to give him credit on that. I was a little nervous when he had to jump, but he did a nice job.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Coach, I felt like the first two quarters, you guys looked like a version of the team that we're used to seeing. Did you feel like that was the best half you all had played so far?
Yeah, it was a good half. Could have been better, but it was a good half. And we still have a ton of things we can work on here and clean up, and we'll do that, when we get back and get ourselves settled here.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, I'm wondering what you have found to be the true success when a team that you know is blitzing is going to blitz you throughout the game, and just what did you see from your offensive line and Patrick when recognized that the blitz was coming?
Yeah, well, they do a bunch of different things, so that's the tricky part about this. And, but I'm proud of our offensive line because really none of that happens without without them. So I thought they did a nice job of picking things up. Our running backs, when asked, did a nice job. And we even included the tight ends on some of the stuff. So all in all, I just thought it was, the guys executed. And it's tough. I'll tell you, you don't know. It's hard to get a read on them. And Wink does a nice job with that defense. And so you got to give credit to Pat and for leading the charge there. I mean, he stepped up big and wanted the responsibility of leading the charge and did a great job with it.
Let's go next to Sam Mcdowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. Kind of to build off what Nate just asked, Patrick mentioned last year that he saw one look that he hadn't seen before from this team. So you guys were still able to beat it. I'm wondering if just quickly, based on what you saw without seeing the film, how much of what you saw tonight was stuff that maybe you hadn't seen previously on film that you were still able to have some success against?
Sam, they do about everything and anything that you can possibly see, and they just do it naturally. I don't know how they learn all of it, but they do, and they do it so well and accurate. And so there are a couple. They always have a little wrinkle for you every time you play them. So there was a new in there, but you can't possibly cover all the different things that they do. I mean, you just have to stay disciplined in your rules and go with it from there.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, speaking of discipline, it looked like your front four was really disciplined with Lamar Jackson. He had the early run, but he wasn't really able to beat you guys with the scramble. How difficult was that to kind of prepare for, and how proud are you of the guys for the job they did tonight in that facet?
Yeah, well, it all starts there up front. And those guys, I think you're right on that. I just thought that when they got into position, you want naturally to charge the quarterback. If you do that with him, it's over. So to keep contained ends up being a huge thing. And he's faster than most of your guys on the field, right? So you see him run away from people, whether it's a cornerback or not. I mean, he can go. He's as fast as anybody out there. So, for you to stay disciplined, that means a lot. It takes a lot to do that. And I was proud of our guys for that, staying disciplined.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Robert and then Herbie. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, Coach. So rightfully so, you get a lot of the credit for a lot of the more exotic play calls, especially the ones that were called today. And I know you've said it on many occasions, but can you just kind of reiterate how important Eric Bieniemy is to the play calling, and especially those more exotic plays like the TD to Fisher?
Yeah, no, he's my right-hand man there. Yeah, he's fully in charge and has a great feel for everything we do. I mean, listen, he was one of my players, so I'm proud as can be of him. And now I have a chance to coach with him. And, I was dreading having possibly to lose him last year, but I'm glad he's back from my standpoint, kind of selfishly. But I know he's not going to be here very long. But I'm going to enjoy every minute I have a chance to spend with him.
Go last to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, good evening. You guys limited the Ravens 166 total yards below what they were averaging coming in. And just to piggyback off of what Todd was asking there, how amped up was your defensive group coming into this game, especially knowing they were going against Lamar Jackson?
Well, yeah, it's Lamar, Herbie, and it's the guys around Lamar that make that thing happen. And so it's a great challenge, and that's why we do this. I was probably most proud of our guys for just challenging every snap. Nobody hung their head when things didn't go right, and they just kept bearing down, which ends up being important, very important when you're playing this crew. And they're mentally tough. They're a mentally tough football team. So you've got to equal that or better that.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you.
Head coach Andy Reid, what a brilliant night tonight for the Kansas City Chiefs, 34-20. Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to start with him, 31 of 42, almost 4 bills tonight. So he's had over 1,000 yards passing in 3 games against what is thought to be the NFL's best defense. They had that defense on roller skates tonight.
Yeah, Coach had the defense figured out. He had him and EB were kind of hitting on all cylinders. They knew when they were going to see man, when they were going to see zone. It's like everything came to fruition. And you can see when our offense, when everything is running on all cylinders, everybody's seeing things through the same eyes, it seems like, right? Everybody, all the receivers are seeing the same defense through the eyes of Pat Mahomes. All the routes, everybody is definitely keyed up, linked up, synced up, and that leads to these big touchdown passes, these big long throws, these big shots for the end zone. That pass right there, you see Pat Mahomes buys himself a few more seconds against a zero blitz, no help on the double move to Mecole Hardman. Plays like that were open all day because of the aggressiveness of the Ravens defense.
There you see, we're going to have him on very shortly. We're going to have Eric Fisher on to bask in his moment of glory with his touchdown reception there. Before the game, I asked Andy Reid on pregame, I said, is this one of those games you dig down on that laminated sheet that he's got and you go down to that right corner? He didn't answer it, but we now saw the answer because the Chiefs got real creative tonight. But one thing that was just old-fashioned was the offensive line. Andrew Wiley, maybe an appendicitis we're hearing right before the game. Mike Remmers gets his first start in 2 years at right guard. How good was this offensive line tonight to allow Patrick Mahomes to do all that and Andy Reid do all his stuff?
Well, you notice on the offensive line, if there is one position that you can afford to lose somebody, it's the guard position, because the center and tackle right beside him can kind of link arms and say, hey, man, we're going to get you through it. Let us know. We're going to step towards you. We'll make sure we don't single you up. Out on the tackles and the guy snapping the ball are kind of you're on the island, right? The snapper got to be on the same page as Mahomes. And then the tackles with the kind of pressure, Judon and Calais Campbell and this up front four for the Ravens can provide on a down-by-down basis. Those guys had to be solid all night long, and they were. They were giving Pat Mahomes just enough time to get the ball off, and he was perfect throughout the night, reading the defense, getting the ball away, and finding some running lanes to scramble for first downs. Against the Raven defense that came in number 1 or 2 in almost every major defensive category, not just for the 2 weeks of this year, but all 16 weeks of last year. 10 possessions tonight for the Chiefs, 1 punt, 1 3-and-out on the 3rd possession. I don't want to get greedy here, but the Chiefs, they could put a half 100 on them tonight. Oh, this game could have got out of hand very early in the first half. And I think our offense, the reason you're so excited about our offense is because they are not going to rest on their laurels at 30-some points is good enough when they know they could have put up 50. They're going to go right back to the drawing board. Pat's going to say, I should have hit Mecole on that zero route. He's going to look back at a few passes that he feels like he could have pinpointed a little bit better and found a receiver open for a touchdown. And then collectively, our special team's going to look back and say, hey, we got to come through. We can't give up 100-yard returns for touchdowns, 93 yards returns for touchdowns when we have a team on the rope. We can't miss field goals that are within a reachable goal. And so overall, I think all 3 phases feel like, hey, we got away with a win. But defensively, we got to hang our hats on this one because we did something with an offense that has been putting up points on everybody. And Coach Spags and the defense philosophy, all the guys, Coach House, all those guys came through on the defensive level to really keep Lamar Jackson kind of at bay all night long. That kickoff return by Duvernay of the Ravens, the first allowed by Kansas City in the 8 years of Andy Reid and Dave Toub. The Chiefs have 12 punter kick returns had yielded 0 prior to tonight. Dave Toub's going to take it personal. I'm just going to tell you, he's going to be cranky on the flight home because he didn't want to give up anything ever. We're going to get into the defense here in a little bit. We are waiting for Eric Fisher, so we're going to talk to the Chiefs' newest wide receiver threat in the Legion of Zoom, Eric Fisher, who's turning into his own like cottage industry. But defensively, I was proud of this defense because you have to stay. You and I talked about this during our podcast on Defending the Kingdom, that you have to stay disciplined every time. And for the most part, 1 run by Lamar Jackson at 30 yards, but that was pretty much it. He never really got out the gate or got into a flow in this game. The first drive of the game, they pulled the guards, and that was the one run I was concerned about because our linebackers didn't go with the guards. They went with the running back, and that let Lamar get out. And you don't want to get him no momentum. You want to keep him at bay. You want to keep helmets on him. And so once we got through that, that's one thing. That first drive, they went down the field, but our defense got our back against the wall, right? And we bowed up, and we held our own inside the red zone and held them to a field goal. I think that was the turning point where our defense decided enough was enough. And the rest of the game, they did. It was lights out, big play after big play. Guys making down the field, making breakups. Ward coming back with his hand. He almost had an interception. Darius Sneed, hopefully he comes back. We know he has a collarbone injury on that almost interception. But all night long, our guys were all around the ball. We definitely made Lamar throw it to the deep outside, and that's what we said all week. We had to make him try to attack the deep outside passing game. But collectively, I think our defense played phenomenally together. We stayed united. Even when they got a play here, a play there, a run went for double digits, 10 yards, 12 yards, the defense stayed together. We made the adjustments. We made the changes needed, and we played 4 quarters of Chiefs defense out there on the field tonight.
Shop, it seems simplistic, but think about all the concern about the Chiefs tackling. Almost 30 missed tackles in the first 2 games. They tackled great tonight. Yes, you got to tackle Mark Ingram every time. Gus Edwards every time. Lamar Jackson every time. J.K. Dobbins every time. Mark Andrews every time. And that's what they did. And they played physical tonight against a physical team.
Yeah, and that's what the Ravens want to do. They want to come out and kind of bloody it up. They want to muck it up. But you know that running game is going behind, the left tackle. It's going to the left side. And you know Lamar loves to get out on his right side running. So we had some guys set up to kind of hold the edges. And then when needed to, Frank Clark got after him, right? When needed to, Chris Jones got after him. Ben Neiman got after him. So the team that had this mobile quarterback who doesn't like to be sacked, who's ultra versatile, he's kind of out there playing like a video game. We had guys that kept him, just shrunk the pocket around him and kind of forced a lot of coverage sacks. So I'm so proud of the guys. The game plan worked. They executed, but it's because they trusted one another. The coverage back end trusted the D-line. The D-line trusted the coverage. Linebackers played their part. All 3 phases working in unison. That's how you play Chiefs defense. That's how you play championship defense, no matter who the opponent is.
We just saw a very important sequence because the Ravens were in the hurry up. They were in the tempo offense. They get all the way to the 13, and then Taco Charlton keeps Lamar Jackson in the cage, and then here comes Neiman late to get the sack with Charlton, and then Frank Clark and Charlton team up. They lose 18 yards in 2 plays, from the 13 to the 31. If they get a touchdown there, Shop, it's on. There's still plenty of time, and it's a 7-point game. Now all of a sudden they get nothing, and they had to burn up timeouts, and it was over. So this defense, and then Rashad Fenton was able to make the play in the end zone on the 4th and 24 desperation play.
Yeah, the defense, I think, all day they rose to the occasion, whatever the situation was, and whatever the situation needed to be for that period and that time frame. The game seemed weird because it seemed like the Chiefs were dominating the game, but the Ravens were always close enough. And with the way their offense can score points, they can run the ball. They have some big play threats down the field. If they could have got a defensive stop and a score, it would have been a game. But our offense was able to control the clock when needed to. I think if there's a few things we want to keep an eye on, it's the fumbling when you have the ball. I know D-Train's going to be hard on himself about that fumble. EB was hard on the sideline, I think, about not getting the first down on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. But collectively, I think our offense is definitely they played a great game tonight.
You know about the Legion of Zoom. There's a new member now of the Legion of Zoom. He wears number 72, and his name is Eric Fisher, the Chiefs' newest weapon at wide receiver. Dude, I see billboards about you now throughout the Chiefs' kingdom. You have become a legend. First of all, congratulations on a touchdown, Kansas City to the Fish.
Miss you, Mitch.
Sherman says hey. We're touchdown brothers now.
Yeah, nice. When you heard the play call, when you knew Coach was going to call it, what were you thinking?
Well, I didn't think Coach was going to call it once we were down a lineman today. And then when it came in the huddle, it just I don't know, man. I blacked out a little bit, and I just did what I did, and the rest is history. But for Big Red to dial my number in that situation and trust me, kind of seal the game. It's a memory I'll have forever, man. There's a lot of ups and downs in this game, and that was for sure one of the ups.
All right, Fish, tell me, back in your days at Central Michigan, did you play tight end? And when you played tight end, tell me, were you a hand catcher or a body catcher?
No, man, I played tackle in college, even though I started at like 230 pounds. But no, I haven't scored a touchdown since junior year of high school, and we ran the veer, so it's a pretty impressive statement.
Stony Creek High School in Michigan, right?
I like playing catch with the guys a little bit at practice, so it'll be special for a while.
Let's talk about the serious stuff and the job you guys did tonight. Wiley, we hear right before the game, has to go to the hospital, so Remmers has to move in at right guard. You're playing these guys that are so hard to play because they pressure. Where's the pressure coming from? What about you guys working tonight in concert in having a night that you almost get 400 yards in passing in this game?
Yeah, when you're playing the best, you got to bring the best, and to have a lineman go down like that right at the game. But I mean, I feel like throughout the years we've been trained for stuff like that, man. We got the depth. We don't have any drop off in our depth, and so obviously Mike comes in, does a great job, no hesitation there, and we just went at it tonight, man. Ups and downs in every football game, but we just kept pounding it, man, and we got the job done.
Well, hats off to that championship mindset from the offensive line. Definitely with one man down, the other four guys stepped up in his replace. Can you tell me about the communication? Not being any fans on the field, that has to help you when you're talking about communicating to a new person, right? A new guy on the field. You interject Reamer, and you have to communicate all the stunts and everything you might see with the D-line. Explain to me a little bit about how that unfolded itself tonight.
Yeah, we knew they were going to bring a lot of pressure, and Pat gets us going in the right direction. We communicate it, we do our best to execute it, and that's why we roll Mike in there every practice. We're rotating, making sure we're prepared for situations like that. But we just got such natural chemistry on our O-line, man.
Gotcha.
We're all good buddies, and it just comes natural, and we have fun doing it.
Fish, final question has to deal with the mindset. They get back to 27-20. We could be dominating, could put a half 100. Now it's a one-possession game. Then you guys just take it right down the field on them on a 13-play, 75-yard drive that led to your touchdown. The mindset of this offensive team tonight, for you to answer that way and do what you did on a 13-play drive, took 6:21.
Yeah, I think we got to give a lot of credit to EB on that mindset, man. He is every single day he is motivating us. He is just he's just an awesome motivator, man. And he's a guy you don't want to let down. And so when he gives you the look and he tells you to go out there and take it to him, we're taking it to him. And, I think it's great to have a guy like that around. He's an awesome, awesome coach and even a better leader. So I think a lot of credit goes to him, but we went out there, got the job done.
I see you on billboards. I see you all over the Chiefs Kingdom. You've become a folk hero, man. The Fish.
I appreciate that.
The Fish has his own army. Wait till you hear the call, my brother. You'll love it. But congratulations on that touchdown and a heck of a win over these guys.
Touchdown, Kansas City, baby.
You got it, Fish.
All right, thanks.
Eric Fisher on the 2-yard. Was it a double move? I couldn't tell. He got off the press and he got out there. It was awesome. You wait till you see it. His eyes get so big. The ball is. I forgot to ask him. It's like the ball was in the air for 50 minutes. And we're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes, who'll probably talk about that touchdown pass to Eric Fisher. We're going to try to get to Patrick here quickly. Patrick goes to 3-0 against the Ravens in these head-to-heads against Lamar Jackson. Again, almost 400 yards in every one of these games to go 3-0 tonight. And to third down conversions, the Chiefs were 10 of 13 tonight against the Ravens defense on third down conversions. So again, we're waiting for Patrick Mahomes to come to the podium. We'll go to him as soon as he gets up there. But really quickly here, when you look at the math and science of football, it's red zone, third down. And against the Ravens, best defense in the NFL, arguably, 10 of 13 on third down and 3 of 3 in the red zone. Honor roll.
Man, Mitch, I kind of feel like when I look at this film, I'm going to feel like EB and the Chiefs targeted a known enemy, Marcus Peters. I gotta feel like when they needed to, they knew he was going to be over-aggressive on a crossing route, so they sent Sammy Watkins on an in and out for a first down. when they knew the blitz was coming, they knew they could do an out and up to his side. When he was supposed to be helping out, he was going to try to jump and help against a post route against another receiver, and then they go up for Mecole Hardman for a touchdown. And then against the Cheetah, it's one-on-one, mano-a-mano. It's the Cheetah versus Marcus Peters, and the Cheetah wins. So I think whenever there was needed to be a big play, the person on that defense they knew they could go after because they knew his tendencies was one Marcus Peters.
Again, we're waiting for Patrick Mahomes to come to the podium. We're going to get the reaction from Patrick there, but I'm with you. It's like, and Marcus Peters is an outstanding football player.
Outstanding athlete.
Outstanding athlete. And we saw his great interception last week against Deshaun Watson, but the Chiefs know him well.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes knows him. He was in training camp in 2017. Peters was still here. And Tyreek Hill knows him. From 2016, they were together for 2 years. And when you know a guy like that, and it's like you see the dancer boxer, you punch him. You see the punching boxer, you dance. But the Chiefs were able to attack Peters tonight.
Oh, definitely. They just knew that he had wandering eyes. And any player, no matter how great an athlete you are, when your eyes start to leave you and you get your eyes off your work, that's when you become vulnerable to a passing game that is so explosive and so phenomenal. Like Coach Reed says, man, just play after play throughout the game. They just picked on him, man. They threw stop routes in front of him. They threw over him when he was sitting on routes, and they threw double moves when he was expecting him to throw quick routes. So nothing more needs to be said about this offense, and we didn't even mention the Sherm play.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Little shovel pass to the sausage. But Patrick Mahomes was patient tonight as well. I mean, he created plays. It's almost like he knew what the defense, and there's Peters getting burned on the double move on the 20-yard touchdown pass, and that was on 3rd down and long. And then Mahomes is gunning it and finding Mecole Hardman for the 2nd straight year. He gets a big play, gets behind the Raven defense. And again, that's so very hard to do against this Raven defense.
Man, and then after, understanding we had the possession so long we had the ball so long for the first half. What do you do in the second half? But you get the running back out one-on-one on Patrick Queen. This young rookie has been playing linebacker and doing some things. I think we're going.
Yep, let's pick up now Patrick Mahomes at the podium in Baltimore.
Ravens do so much exotic things that you mentioned last year. They did something you hadn't seen before. How much of tonight had you not really seen yet on film, and how did you reply to that? And then, Brad, I'll have a real quick follow-up.
Yeah, well, they definitely had a blitz package that we weren't necessarily prepared for. But at the same time, we had kind of talked about different stuff that they could do. So, obviously we had some unscouted looks, but I thought the offensive line did a great job of picking those guys up, even though they were hitting in gaps that they hadn't hit so far this season. And so it's about just being on communication throughout the game and making adjustments. I thought we did a good job of that.
And then the cameras caught you counting to 4 on your hands. I wonder if that had anything to do with your ranking on the NFL Top 100 this offseason.
I think there was like 4 touchdowns in the game, I think, at that point.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Congrats, Pat. 2 really unique touchdowns went to Anthony Sherman and then later in the game to Eric Fisher. I was wondering if you could just kind of go through both plays, how the recipient reacted, especially Fisher toward the end there, who was really uncommon to see him score.
Yeah, the first one, the Sherm, we'd actually had ran it my first year starting against the Patriots, and they had accidentally covered it because the guy was just following the ball, and so we kind of been hanging on to that one, trying to find the right opportunity. And I thought Coach Reed did a great job of calling it there on that down and distance and to get that touchdown. Coach Reed and Coach Bieniemy, and so that one was good. And then the other one was a play that we worked on in training camp that we had drawn up, and I thought Fish did a great job of reporting and then making a heck of a catch because he was more open in practice. So, I had to throw it there high for him, and he made a great catch on it.
Let's go next to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Patrick, along those same lines there, Coach Reed had mentioned earlier that he was a little nervous that Fisher had to jump up there to make that catch. What about you? What were your feelings when you threw that ball a little high?
Yeah, I actually in practice, there was one time I threw it high just to see how much range he had. Because most times he was wide open. I could just throw it right to his chest. But I thought he did a great job. The dude's an athlete. That's the reason that he's playing his position so well for so long. But I'm sure he'll be talking about it for years to come. So I'm glad he got in the end zone.
Let's go next to Adam Teichert. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick. What made tonight a good game to bust out some of those plays we hadn't seen before, the pass to Sherm, the pass to Fisher, that kind of wildcat pass you ended up throwing. And also, you were really good tonight against the blitz. 3 touchdowns, I think. Why so good against that kind of pressure tonight?
Yeah, I mean, first off, the plays that we ran, I mean, I think we just got in the right situations. Last week against the Chargers, we weren't in the right situations to run some of the plays that we had. I thought EB and Coach Reed did a great job of dialing them up at the right time. And at the same time, I thought guys executed at a very high level on those plays. And then so you said the second part of your question. Oh, the blitz. Okay, I got you. Against the blitz, same thing. First going against our defense. I mean, when you're going through training camp against Coach Spags, you're getting a heavy dosage of blitzes from everywhere. And so I thought guys accepted that challenge in training camp, and it paid off today. I mean, we might not necessarily have seen that exact blitz, but we had seen blitzes with fire zone pressures and cover zeros. And guys sped up their routes. The O-line gave me enough time because when they're bringing extra people, they're getting big and really swelling up. And I gave me enough time to put the ball downfield and let these guys make some plays.
Go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. Just what can you say about your defense tonight? I mean, when you guys were scoring all these touchdowns, they were holding Lamar and the Ravens' offense to 3 and outs over and over again, getting the ball back in your hands.
Yeah, I mean that's a dynamic offense. Our defense did a great job of accepting the challenge. I mean, everyone was talking about how they were going to run it down their throat the entire game, and they made it not happen. I mean, they might have given some yards there at the end of the game, but for the most part of that game, they were stuffing it, getting 3 and outs, and getting the ball back in our hands. And I think if we wouldn't have put the defense in such bad situations those 2 times in the second half, they wouldn't even have given up that many points.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick, I have 2 questions for you. The first is, what was your favorite play from tonight's game on offense? And then secondly, you never want to see a teammate have to be rushed to the hospital like Andrew Wiley, but what does it say about Mike Remmers to come in and still give you good protection because the Ravens blitz so much?
Yeah, I mean, it's great preparation on Remmers' part. I mean, obviously, we're I don't know what's out or what's not out, so I can't really say as much as what's at the end. Wiley going to the hospital, but glad that he's doing okay and everything like that. And then for Remmers to step up and really, I mean, against a really good defense that blitzes a lot and be prepared, and then accept the challenge every single play against a great defensive line. I thought he did a great job, and it shows that we have depth at that position. I mean, we have a lot of guys there that I really trust can come in and protect me and give me time to make these throws to these guys.
Got time for a couple more guys.
I didn't answer your second question about the favorite play. My favorite play probably was the one to McCole, just because we had drawn it up. We didn't want the kind of that zero type fire zone pressure. But we had drawn it up, especially for this team, and I thought he did a great job of running the route. And EB had kind of mentioned it earlier in the game, and we called it at the right time and made a big play on it.
Got time for a couple more. Go with Jeremy Fowler and then Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, Patrick, with as creative as his offense was tonight has shown to be, how has that challenged you to improve as a quarterback, whether it's with different arm angles or just mastering the nuances of things?
I mean, Coach Reed's never going to be stagnant. He's going to keep putting in more and more plays. He's going to keep challenging us every single day, and that's what makes it fun. You get in here, it's not the same game plan every single week. We honestly have a new game plan from top down every single week, and that goes with the preparation that our coaches have. Coach Reed, Coach Bieniemy, Coach Kafka, Coach G. I mean, all those guys, Coach McCullough, they do a great job of really scouting out and giving us a great game plan so that we can go out there and execute at a high level.
Last to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Patrick, your numbers in the month of September are unreal. 10-0, 32 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Is there something specific about the month of September that you want to start off the season on the right foot?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes with the training camp that we run. We run a tough training camp, and it prepares us to get off to a hot start. I think what we can learn from last year is we kind of had the same start almost exactly coming off the Ravens game, and then we dropped a couple games. And we have a great opponent coming up in the New England Patriots, and so we're going to keep moving on and keep going and knowing that we're going to have a great challenge this week ahead.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. We will see you.
Getting an amazing streak there. The Chiefs get another win in September. That's 14 straight September wins for this franchise. 10 straight for Mahomes. 7 of those 10 have been on the road against some of the toughest opponents in this league. 32 touchdowns, no picks in September. But he mentioned it. He's getting ready for the New England Patriots. I'm getting ready for this chair. But now you got this short week, and you're going to take on a team that, to me, is very similar now to the Ravens because of the Cam Newton approach and what he brings. This isn't Tom Brady anymore. It's Cam Newton who's got a kind of a Lamar Jackson approach.
Yeah, and Cam actually has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove to everybody he's healthy and ready to go and back to his old Superman ways, running the ball. They're doing the delayed quarterback keepers and different ways to feature him with the ball. And so if you look at it, almost position by position. One team has Lamar Jackson, the other has Cam Newton. The Baltimore Ravens has Ingram, Dobson, and Edwards, and now the New England Patriots have Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, and James White, and then you have Hollywood Brown on one side and Edelman on the other. So between the Chiefs facing the Baltimore Ravens, I think defensively you're going to see a lot of similarities too. High pressured. Now you might not see as many man-to-man blitzes, but Belichick is going to be very creative with his defensive package, always trying to keep Pat on his toes and second-guessing what he sees before he throws the ball.
And to me, it's very similar because that's the Ravens' approach. They want to keep you guessing. They do different things. And now with Cam quarterbacking them, it just feels like a Ravens game all over again in a short week. You played this game. This team gets home, they get about 4 a.m., and it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right now it's Tuesday. And that's for a short week. It tests these coaches, too, to get a high-quality opponent on a short week.
Yeah, but what I like about Pat in that interview is his mentality is always forward-thinking. He's never you want to talk about what he's already done with September and how great he is, and he's already talking about the next opponent. He's not living up and leveraging his glory of being a 10-0 quarterback and fast starts to the season. No. He's worried about, hey, we've had fast starts before. It's that second segment of the season. I want to make sure that my team, we don't lull. And I want to make sure we carry that momentum into the second half. So Pat he's a leader on and off the field, mentally, physically, emotionally, and he's doing it at a very high level this season.
It's a great point because he remembers being 1-3 last year in October, even though the Chiefs go on to win Super Bowl 54. What a night tonight, though. The Chiefs get the victory over the Baltimore Ravens. Again, a statement game in what was thought to be a showdown game between the last two MVPs in the regular season of the National Football League. For Shawn Barber, I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Enjoy a short week because it's going to be cranked up here on Sunday because here come the Patriots.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.